Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is good to be here with you. I am Bernice Patrice for those that are just joining me. And I want to build up my body through nourishment, build up my spirit through intercession, build up my soul household through um, through wisdom. And so I am doing that through a 90-day documentary where I'm going to update everything. But 90-day documentary on juicing, a 70-day documentary on praying in the spirit. Hi. And a 70-day documentary on pre-homestead preparation, which is taking a whole nother like level. So we'll talk about that later. But for right now, this series is just to encourage me through scientific insight, through biblical insight, um, through nourishment insight, to just encourage me to continue to keep going, press forward without quitting, so that I will stay strong instead on the decline, be covered instead of exposed, and um, as well as be prepared instead of caught off guard. So the pattern that I just want to address today is relying on external pressure to move forward. Okay. um Needing deadlines, needing those type of things to push me to action, and just like wanting growth before it has fully developed. So I just want to be able to move through steadiness instead of pressure. I hope that makes sense. But that is the goal that I would like to do. So I just want to look at what happens. So when I rely on external pressure, the brain shifts from reactive mode, and shifts into reactive mode when external pressure takes place. So the amygdala, I'm going to put that in the chat because I could be pronouncing it wrong. The amygdala, it becomes dominant, and so it begins to respond to emergency, stress, spikes, things like that. And so I will have short bursts of productivity, but it will lack the long term consistency. But I want things to be able to last long term, not just short term, but for the long term. I want to be able to continue to climb that mountain. I want to be able to continue to go work towards the goals. I want to be able to continue to juice. I want to be able to continue and be consistent in praying in the spirit. I don't want to just have that short term burst of energy. I hope that makes sense. But the external pressure feels more motivating because it triggers the adrenaline. It triggers the dopamine, and but unfortunately that's not sustainable. Um so science is saying that the internal routine, meaning having like consistent repetition, and being predictable in the routine and all of that, allows for um, that decision making process to be so much better. It'll be able to be long term, and that's the goal, to be able to sustain the thing, sustain it long term. So that's what I would want my brain to transition from reactive to proactive, and proact things that will allow for me to proactively be stable. In pregnancy, 12th week of pregnancy, um, the baby begins to be more coordinated. That's why they have fists, toes wiggles, they swallowing, they squinting. Can you imagine? They're doing all of that in the womb. And then their nervous system is maturing. The nerves and the muscles are communicating better, and the bone marrow is forming, producing the white blood cells. Kidneys are secreting urine. Fingerprints, fingernails, toenails are formed, facial features are forming, all of those things are defining. The mother's body is changing, her hormones are leveling out, her energy is increasing, the uterus is rising, you begin to see the bump a little bit, and then she may be still sensitive to smell, and she may have like a glow on her skin and develop pigmentation. So, all of this, I'm saying all of this to try to relate it to the topic today. So the baby movements are coordinated, the systems are working together. Just these are happening and strengthening because there is like a consistency in moving forward. It's not dramatic, but it is happening. And it's not completely visible because it's happening inside of the womb. And so I want to just remember these three things: that my routine grows through repetition, not pressure. So, and then my routine, so me being intentional with whatever I'm doing, that is how my growth is happening, not being made to do something. And then that's why I love like the idea of someone wanting to do things on their own, and the things that I do, wanting to do it on my own. I just think it's so beautiful when it's that way, when it's a choice. Steadiness is strength, not stagnation. Quiet consistency builds long term transformation. So if I want to have something sustainable, I just have to be consistent in that. I have to be consistent in my love. I have to be consistent in my growth. I have to be consistent in that, and then long term, it will bring the transformation that takes place. I have to be consistent with my juicing, consistent in my praying in the spirit, consistent with the choices that I make that will build my homestead, my household, allow for everything to come together. So God is so good, and as that happen, I'll be someone that has steadiness. I will have someone that is controlled, not controlled by pressure, but just have a good set routine. And then I'm someone who has alignment with what it is that I'm working towards. And instead of urgency, I have a friend that I expect very soon to create um a course or some kind of teaching and training on discipline, and I'm happy to be one of the first students to learn from that. But I want to look at David. I want to look at David. First Samuel chapter 17. First Samuel, if you can turn there, that would be amazing. First Samuel chapter 17. And so when you look at David, before he became the king, um, First Samuel chapter 17. Before he came the king, he had a season where he actually had external pressure, you know, and it shaped his movement. So sometimes we do have pressure, and we can see that in David's life. So, let me give you an example. He ended up having to fight lions. He ended up having to fight bears. He ended up being in isolation. He ended up being rejected. He ended up being someone that's King Saul greatly pursued. And so his life was actually filled with a lot of intensity. So when we look at First Samuel, oh, what? I'm sorry. I'm in Second Samuel. I thought I was in first. First Samuel chapter 17. First Samuel chapter 17, verse 34. But David persisted. I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats, he said. When a lion or a bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death. I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do it again to this pagan Philistine too, for he has defied the army of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the claws of the lion and bear will rescue me from the Philistine. I read too much. But basically the part where he said, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth if the animal turns on me, if I catch it by the jaw and club it to death. So basically this just describes how he fought lions and bears, and that pressure from having to fight that, it was shaping him. it was shaping him. So sometimes we do have outside pressure and it shapes us. It does shapes us. So I wanted to address that. But let's look at Psalms 23 verse 2 through 3. Psalms 23 verse 2 through 3. Okay. So anybody knows about the 23rd Psalms? He lets me rest in the green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He restores my strength. He guides me along the right path, bringing honor to his name. Hey, this is speaking to me right now. I got to read it one more time. The Lord lets me rest in green meadows. The Lord leads me beside peaceful streams. The Lord renews my strength. The Lord guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. That is the place where we just have to get the restoration that we need, especially when we feel the pressure, and rest in him. And in these two verses, it shows how we can get the rest in the green meadows, and beside the peaceful streams. I like how they say green meadows, peaceful streams, renews my strength. So you get a renewing. Hallelujah. And then you get guided to the right path. Hallelujah. Bringing honor to his name. Hallelujah. This right here was speaking to me. God is showing me what will allow for me to have the strength that I need. This is what I need a routine in. Maybe I should say that. Resting in the Lord, resting in the green meadows, resting beside the peaceful stream, resting and allowing the Lord to guide me in the right path, and so that I may bring honor to his name. Anybody else feel that way? So I become someone who has that inner steadiness because this is what I'm doing. I am allowing the Lord to be my shepherd. I am being someone who is steady, patient, and anchored in the Lord. So let's look at the Psalms 27, another very popular psalm, verse 14. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. The Lord is our strength. In the times where we may feel pressure, wait on the Lord. Call on his name. He is able to just speak and move in every situation. I truly believe that. I know that for myself. God is able. Personally have experienced that. He has stable me and allowed me to be anchored and my strength. And then let's look at back to First Samuel. Back to the beginning. First Samuel. I'm talking about David and his story. Let's see. First Samuel. Okay. 17 verse 50. So David triumphed over the Philistine with only a sling and stone, for he had no sword. Okay. So basically, what I want to emphasize here that victory took place because he had a good routine. He rested in the Lord, and he eventually ended up being king. He eventually led armies. He wrote wonderful songs. He defeated Goliath, and it allowed for him to just have supernatural results in his life. And so that's what I want in my life. I want to have supernatural results. So I want to be steady in resting in the Lord. And I want to be steady in just being anchored in him. And so me juicing, me praying in the spirit, me just building on my household in a brand new way, but it's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful way. It's God's working, and I'll talk all about it when the time comes. But um I just believe that just understanding how the importance of nourishing my body, how it allows for me to reduce stress, praying in the spirit, reduce stress as well. And even focusing on having discipline to build up my household, my soul, it reduces stress and it allows for me to be victorious because I am in the Lord. So let us wait on the Lord. Let us be strong and knowing that he shall give us the victory, he shall guide us, he shall uh allow for us to rest in him because he is our shepherd. So I'm choosing to move from just focusing on pressure to just focus on being consistent in my choices. And I know that it will bring a lasting, sustainable transformation. So love you so much. Thank you for joining. And if you want to build up your household and yourself, you can shop Dr. Stella, our sponsor, special link, or um, visit my website, bernicepatrice.com. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. Okay.